The red Sea Max Nano has been up and running for 12 months, but is it a hit or is it a miss? Let's get stuck into the review. So first of all, let's start with the outside. This is a Gen 2 tank, so it comes with the plastic reinforced sides, and they really are there to protect the silicone, and the quality is pretty good. Look, you can go right up against that, against the plastic. On a Gen 1, that would hack away at the silicone. So that was in response to tanks leaking. The only part that hasn't got the protector is here at the rear. But I would say the quality of the silicone, the quality of the glass is a step up in the Gen 2 compared to the Gen 1. And again, if you look at the cabinet, that's 12 months old. There's not a mark on it. I've got to say, I clean it probably every 2 to 3 weeks. You do get salt creep, especially when you're doing water changes and you get marks. So that is good. Again, it's a better quality finish than the Gen 1. So in terms of the outside, I would say top marks for that. Now I used the DD jump guard on the top. Use those on previous tanks. That is pretty good. Would recommend that. And also I use a DD controller for the heater. Right, back to the tank itself. So this is the Reef 50, and I used a par meter when I first set it up. And on the top, just around there, the par was 250 to 300. Doesn't matter when I've kind of got NEMs in the tank, and that's running at 60% blue. I think it's 40% white. I've got to say, I do like the lights. Nice and easy to set up on the Reef app, the Reef Beat app, and nice and easy to use. So I would recommend that. So that works pretty well. Okay, so let's look at the back chamber. So I've kept this pretty much the same. This has got a sponge, and then underneath that you have the one filter sock. Change that every 4 days, more or less. Just wash it out and able to put it back in. But I've got 2 or 3 of them, so I can wash it out and put a nice clean one in. And you find when you put that in, it's quieter with the sponge in. I have done a modification here. So off of eBay, I have put here a 3D printed divide there, and that just stops the water flowing from the weir down the back here. So all the water now travels down here to keep it cleaner, and then you've got the skimmer here and that overflows into there. If you haven't got this on here, that flows back onto the sponge, but I do prefer, and I find it quieter. It's making a bit of noise at the moment. It probably needs changing. As for the skimmer itself, I find that pretty good. Nice bit of skimmate there. Probably took about 3-4 months for it to kick in properly, but happy with it now. Nice lot of bubbles, as you can see. So that is what has remained the same. What I have changed at the back is, and you may notice there was a big sponge there, which obviously helped filter out some crud. I've taken that away, and the main reason I've taken that away is that I've also removed the auto top off that was on this. So it was a float valve, had about 2 litres, and I removed it for 2 reasons. Number one, the water only lasts about 2 days, so fed up filling it up. And in the time I had it on there, which was probably about 6 months or so, it kept on jamming. I had the manual float valve on a Red Sea reefer for the whole time I had it set up, so about 6.5 to 7 years, and it probably would jam if I didn't clean it, and it probably jammed about 2 or 3 times in that time. So I was a bit disappointed with this one, so I removed it, and I've put in here the new Red Sea 3-in-1 auto top off. So auto top offs, it's got a temperature monitor, and it's also got a leak detector. So overall, nice and simple. I've got some small pieces of rock rubble in the back, in the chamber, just over there. And the last thing to mention within the sump is the return pump. Now, it works pretty well. Get quite decent flow from it, and that flows onto the surface. Quite a decent amount of water agitation. But it is a little noisy. Now, I don't know if it's because the way that the tank's positioned, whether there's any vibration in there, but it's not the quietest pump in the world, I would say. So I know that I've seen online people switch out a different pump altogether. I'm going to stick with it. I do like this here. This is quite nice. Just keeps all your gubbins from behind. I haven't got much of this on show, but obviously it hides the skimmer and it hides the tubing. I suppose if I was dosing, then I would have more tubes coming over there, but I haven't. And then last but not least, there's the cabinet there. It's a shell. I must admit, I never really keep my cabinets that clear of lots of wires, and whilst it's not a nest of wires, it's not the best, most tidiest. This is a nice container, 15 litre container for the RO, and that fits in there really, really nicely. No deterioration of the hinges, and you expect that because there's no sump, no salt creep, nothing at all. That's a really nice quality cabinet there. So overall, really, really happy with this tank. I would recommend this to both people new to the hobby. 100 litres, not a bad size. It comes with a lot of things that you need on a tank, but also if you're downgrading or you've been in a hobby for a little while, it's a different experience, and it is really nice having a peninsula, albeit a small peninsula, and it allows you a few more options than a cube. And the Max Nano, which is 70 litres I think, and this is 100 litres. So I've got to say, really impressed with it, really happy with it, and would recommend it. If you've got any questions, any comments, any issues that you might have had with this, or what you like on this tank, then leave them below. And thanks for watching.